Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we'll be reviewing the custom LEGO Transformers Devastator that I've spent almost a month on. So yeah, this guy is the very reason that I've not been uploading. However, I do think it's worth it, as this is probably the best LEGO Transformer I've done, at least for a couple weeks. We may as well get right into it, as this is going to be a long video. So, here is Bone Crusher. As you can see, these guys take heavy inspiration from the Bayverse kind of color scheme. At least, where I could. Some of them, well, the other ones, we'll get into that. He looks pretty cool here. I definitely like the light on top, which is a feature carried over for Scrapper, who also uses this kind of barred roll cage piece. I mean, yeah, he looks pretty cool here. There's not much to say, he's just a generic construction vehicle. Scavenger here, however, he's a little more interesting as he does have tires instead of the treads like the G1 design. And he does look slightly odd here as he kind of has a tumour growing out the side just due to how he transforms. I mean, obviously these are slightly stylized designs, but I will say this guy kind of looks pretty bad in vehicle mode, I'm not going to lie. I mean, for the most part it's okay, but definitely at the front it does get slightly messy. But anyways, on to Scrapper. Now, Scrapper here, he does not really take any inspiration from the Bayverse design, except for kind of like just the general vehicle. The reason he's orange is because I'm lazy and didn't buy any new parts. And that scoop piece, I only had one in orange, so I was like, you know what, let's just make him orange. And I guess it does look pretty cool here. And it's definitely a contrast, as I don't think I've never seen this guy being orange before. Maybe that's for a good reason though. But yeah, he's actually quite a nice, compact little guy, and I do quite like him in vehicle mode. Here's Mixmaster, and if you're a little bit more keen-eyed, you may notice this is not a cement mixer. The reason for that is because I actually have no idea how you'd make a cement mixer at this scale with the pieces I have. As you may know, I don't actually buy any specific pieces for my figures. So I had a Lego City Troll truck, and I was like, you know what, that looks good enough, and I actually think it looks pretty cool here. The reason he's white is because in the original Bayverse, concept art for him, he was a white Autobot, and I just took that color scheme, so it looks quite nice here. Now on to the abomination that is Long Haul. He's definitely not terrible, but he does have some quite unsightly gaps at the side. The main reason for this is just because of the way he transforms. And yeah, again, the reason he's orange is because that dump truck piece is only in orange. That's the only colour I have it in. There's no other reason. I'm a cheapskate, what can I say? I will say the front actually looks quite nice using that Creo Decepticon logo. And even the back doesn't look too bad. It's mainly just the middle where he is quite gappy. But I mean, at least he doesn't have a trailer like the Studio Series version. I mean, you're paying him £90 and he comes with a trailer. What is that? I mean, granted, the Studio Series 1 does have individual bot modes, which mine does not. But bringing up the tally marks, I'm counting that as a point for me, come on. I don't have a trailer on my long haul, because why would a dump truck have the trailer? It's actually stupid. £90 for that is a scam. Anyways, on to Hook, who is actually the first one I designed, and he actually was going to have a bot mode, but then I realised I don't have the pieces to make everyone have an individual bot mode, and it also just makes them a lot less sturdy, so I scrapped that and just went back to the basics. And yeah, he actually looks pretty nice here. I like the 6-wheel design. He only has headlights on one side just due to the way the combiner chest plate attaches on, but apart from that, he's a quite nice crane, and he's pretty simple as well. Now for some of the actual features. He can move the bucket up and down. This looks pretty cool. And I definitely prioritized kind of having features rather than being 100% accurate, as it's just more fun to play with. As at the end of the day, Lego and Transformers are both toys, so obviously functionality is definitely the best aspect that you can incorporate. Mixmaster here also has the working hook, which looks pretty cool. And for some comparisons, I'll just put a normal Legacy Deluxe class here, just to see the scale. And I'll chuck in G1 Optimus Prime, because why not? Here's Bone Crusher again. Love this little guy, he's just a neat little vehicle. And obviously the bucket piece can move up and down. To be fair, I don't even know if the bucket piece is Lego or Creo, but it looks good, so we'll just pay, it doesn't matter, just move on from that. Scavenger here. Yeah, you're gonna have to use your imagination for the bucket, what can I say? I was running out of pieces and ideas at this point. But he's still a solid little crane. Even articulated, which is pretty cool. And I do like the cab section, attached in a very strange way, which you'll see in transformation. Overall, they're all pretty solid in vehicle mode, except long haul. He is slightly loose where the dump truck piece attaches. But apart from that, he actually can dump as well, which is pretty cool to be fair. But yeah, long haul, he's definitely my least favourite out of the bunch. And we'll move swiftly on to Hook, who actually might be my favourite. As, I don't know, there's something just charming about a nice red crane, and it's articulated as well, and it can extend, which obviously just makes for a better play value. Which would be pretty cool if people could actually build it, if I made instructions, which I won't be, so stop asking. Nah, I'm just kidding. The more comments I get, the better, so keep asking for tutorials, even though I'll never do them. So, onto the transformation we go. The first step, we just take the entire side of Scrapper, that was his name, and we just also take the bucket piece and just hinge it up like pretty much every scrapper has ever done. We can then rotate around this entire assembly here and just fold it down. The leg is slightly hollow here, but I'll talk about that later. And flip out this piece just to reveal the combiner port, which also folds up, and this just is one of the Lego ratchet joints. And we can also fold out his heel, and there is a leg. Mixmaster is slightly more simple, as all we do is fold out the combiner joint. Well, there's a little more than that, but that's pretty much it. We just take this entire toe assembly and just rotate it around. And take this 1x2 piece and rotate it around there. And this entire roof assembly is just going to swivel round to the side and collapse down. This gives the clearance for him to fold up his leg. And that is one chunky foot design. You can also fold out these pieces just to make it more stable. And there is another leg. Yes! On to Bone Crusher. I'm losing my mind a little bit recording this. But anyways, just rotate it up and spin it around. You can then take the entire cab assembly and just fold it around at the hinge, as well as extend the arm joint, which is pretty satisfying. You can also rotate the fist out as it's just on a ball joint. And then doing some spinjitzu moves, you can just take this entire cab assembly and fold it around, which is also pretty satisfying, and fold out the combiner port. And there's another limb. It's an arm this time. Scavenger, the first thing you do is take the crane and fold it all the way back. This is just on a pin joint. You can then split the crane boom in half just by the little hinge piece. And now to the interesting connection I told you about. It just kind of spins around, and then this bar just compresses, which is actually quite satisfying. And it's just a nice simple step to give him more bulk in the upper arm. You can extend the forearm now, as well as rotate around this little piece here, which is kind of just like a little radiator. And extend out the combiner port, as well as take this front section and just compress it, just to bulk up the torso a little bit. And there is your second arm. On to long haul. Even though I've been saying it looks pretty bad here, his transformation is actually probably the best out of all of them, as it's very complicated for what he is. So you just take everything, you kind of just explode him out. And exploding him out there, you kind of reveals the legs, or at least what will be the upper legs. And the entire assembly here, the entire grill assembly, it just folds away. And here's the chest plate, which rotates out. And it's going to spin around just on a friction joint here. We can then kind of come to the torso, and we just need to collapse it all into this kind of huge chunk. We can then spin the wheels around and just collapse them on the back of the legs using the ball joints. And begin to rotate the legs down just to give them clearance. So I'm switching to a video now because I really don't think pictures do it justice. This dump truck piece and just have it into this. Just gives you a little sense of scale, as he's definitely my biggest build yet. As I just saw on the ratchet joints. And there he is. I've even had to move up the lights on these little boxes just to be able to get this guy all lit up for the video. And just rotate around to the sides. I actually have a few figures here to compare him with. Here he is with probably your standard size Voyager. Also fold down the entire chest plate, just give him clearance later on when he's combined. As you can see, he's absolutely giant, and he absolutely dwarfs pretty much any figure that I have. And finally, I do think a good comparison. The first thing we can do is take this little 1x2 piece, as I think he's going to rotate scale pretty well with him. This will secure him later on when he splits in half. I did actually build a stand with this guy, however I've not been using it yet, as he is actually quite stable. Not expect. Okay, I know I said that he
going to
would not be on the
compress and just
stand.
become
However, he started wobbling, and I realized it's actually not worth the hassle of him
these
falling
wheels,
over.
I know where else
So
to put
here he
them,
is on
so
the
they're just going to
stand.
rotate around and hide away
And I
here.
actually think it looks pretty cool.
But now
I've gone for the kind of desert vibe, kind of Revenge of the Fallen inspired.
Actually, what am I talking about?
And
Now
here he
we
is
can
with a
rotate
minifigure
his
as well to get an
head.
even better sense of scale.
Now we can rotate
As
his head
imagine a
around.
minifigure looking up at this guy, he'd be
And
absolutely
there is
gigantic
his
in real
luscious
life.
noggin. Here are all the
Unfortunately,
components
this
of
guy
him just
definitely does
getting
not fit on the
combined.
turntable. So I'll just
And
spin him
obviously
around
the first thing
manually.
we do is we place down a leg.
Please don't fall over. Please don't fall over.
And another leg.
There we go. There he is.
The
There's
torso
the stand
just
at
tabs
the
in
side.
using the ratchet joints there.
And
And
he actually
Hook
looks
just
pretty cool
tabs
from
on
this
top,
angle.
and this
There's
entire
actually quite a
chest
lot of
plate
wheels
just
on
covers
display
him
here
up.
as well.
As it just
Unfortunately,
tabs
this
into the
leg
front.
is quite hollow, but that's just
And
due
the
to the
arms
fact that
also
the
tab
vehicle
into the side.
is a lot smaller
And
than
those
the
connection
Mixmaster's
ports
one.
I told you about, they just tab in underside Hook.
And also,
And
both wheels are on one
there
side,
he
so
is.
obviously there's nothing to fill out this area. But I think it's a small compromise for having the vehicle really mass shift, which looks pretty cool. Here is the stand. It's a pretty basic stand. It's also off-center by one stud, but I was too lazy to change that, so we're leaving it. And it just tabs into the back here. So spinning him round still. You can see this orange dump truck piece actually looks pretty cool here. And unlike the Studio Series version, where it kind of forms a shelf, I actually think this integrates into the design quite well. Here is Bone Crusher on the side. He looks pretty cool there. I've also gone for the more rounded pieces here on the chest plate, because I just think it works better with the overall design. And here's his head sculpt. It does look slightly strange. He does have a kind of chin strap there. But apart from that, he's looking pretty cool. He does look like he has a bit of a giant nose, but, you know, that's fine. That doesn't matter. But yeah, there he is. Definitely the biggest build I've ever done. Compared to the shelves, he's absolutely huge. I don't even think he'd fit on them, to be honest. Very happy with this guy. Hope you guys are as well. As I've not uploaded in a while, because I've been working on this figure. He's taken a long time, as you can imagine. But yeah, like I said, I just don't think the pictures would do him justice, considering how big he is. And we may as well go through the details, so we can start off with the head. Looking pretty cool. He uses another Creo Decepticon logo, which I do like using these in my builds, as they are pretty cool. Here's Bone Crusher. He does have a lot of articulation as well, I should mention that. I'm not really going to pose him, because he is, although he's stable standing up, in a pose, he is not too stable. You can see, if I just take this skirt piece off here, he does have the ratchet joint in there, but it really doesn't hold up the figure too well in a pose. And even in the knees, there's the singular ratchet joints. However, as these are not ones with springs, they are quite loose when he's actually moving. He does have ankle tilts as well, but they're kind of useless here, as the base does kind of incorporate him into the design, you know, just to keep him more stable. Don't want him falling over, obviously. He has the ball joints at the elbows. He has the opening hands. The hands are actually on ball joints in there, which is pretty cool. He can grab stuff. But yeah, he actually looks phenomenal here. Probably one of my favourite builds I've done so far. The only thing I'm kind of not happy with is this crane piece sticking out. However, just due to the pieces I used, and I really don't think I have any other like yellow pieces I could use. So I did decide to go with these two pieces I found from an old truck set that I had. And I guess they kind of work, but it's not the best I've ever done. There's also this crane kind of hanging off the back. However, that is geo-inaccurate. What isn't geo-inaccurate is these wheels up here. But actually, like, they don't look too bad. They do kind of clutter his head a little bit, as it looks kind of strange having an empty side here, and then just having the head like kind of blocked here. But I couldn't, like, the reason I slimmed this down anyway is because I actually had the wheels incorporated in the chest where he was 2 studs wider. But obviously, being that 2 studs wider, he just looked way too wide. And so I've kind of had to just attach them to the backpack. They are kind of just kibble here. I mean, they look kind of cool here, but yeah, they are just kibble at the end of the day. I've also gone with the treads here, but then just the wheels here, just to kind of mix things up, as this is my own take on Devastator. Obviously, long haul, the only reason he's orange, like I've said, is just because of that dump truck piece at the back. And the only reason this guy is orange, was his name again, Scrapper, is because I only had this piece in orange, and I just thought it suited the build just too well to leave out, you know. I do like the wheels here on the side, the 3 wheels. I've not really seen any other Devastators do that. I think it looks pretty cool. Mixmaster, he is, I've probably mentioned this already, but just filming out of order, but I'll say it again. The reason he's not cement mixer is because I had no idea how to approach that with the pieces I have. I don't order any pieces for these builds, so I decided, you know what? Let's just destroy a Lego City tow truck. I actually have it here. Yeah, I just absolutely destroyed it just to get these pieces. You know, make him a tow truck, why not? It looks pretty cool. It's just, you know, I just came up with it on the spot. Everyone else is pretty faithful, except the wheels here on Scavenger. That should be treads, but I wanted to kind of mix it up. It looks decent, I'd say. I'd probably prefer the treads, but I didn't really have any other treads to actually add. But yeah, I'd say he's pretty cool here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this kind of more hands-on review, as I really, you know, I don't really know how else to film this guy. He is way too big to do a traditional review. He barely fits on my desk here anyway. So I feel like I'm going to have to go. And like I said, the pictures, you know, a still image of this guy, I just don't think it does him justice of how long I've spent on him. But yeah, just getting some nice shots of him here. He looks pretty cool. Definitely a fan of this guy. I do have to film his short afterwards, transforming him, so that'll be painful, but, you know. Yeah, he looks pretty cool here. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. I will actually, you know, I'll get this piece reattached just so I don't annoy anybody. It's actually annoying me, just, there we go. But yeah, that is it for this review. I hope you've enjoyed. It's been a slightly different review than normal. And yeah, I hope I get back to posting regularly soon. I'm trying, but I've been a little bit ill lately, so I've not really been able to record audio until now. But yeah, this guy he's pretty cool. Hope you've enjoyed. And I'll see you all for the next video. Goodbye.